Hello and welcome to the Outer East Football Netball Show, brought to you by Gameface. I'm Adam Miller. Once again, alongside me in the studio is Steph Barkers. Good afternoon, Steph.
Good afternoon, Aidan. Plenty to talk about, as always. Can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, certainly, of course. We're looking at the first part of this episode will be around the grounds. We're going to have another look at all what's happening in the Outer East.
We have more ones to watch, of course, across men's and women's footy and our netball.
Match of the round previews, of course, Warburton Millgrove v Belgrave this week. We're going to take a look at those matchups and see what's going to happen.
We have an interview with Woori Yallock senior men's captain Kody Busoli after their win over Upwey Tacoma on the weekend.
We also have a special guest this week, Danny Ryan, the talent lead at the Eastern Rangers, and also the Woori Yallock stalwart.
And fantasy football and netball is back. We're going to add our first sub to our netball teams, as well as a back pocket and a half back flank to our footy teams. All right, let's get straight into Around the Grounds. Our first piece of news is that we have a free Auskick transition program coming up in early August. So all Auskick parents, the Outer East Junior Football Under-8s competition is a free 2-week competition for all registered Auskickers interested in participating in junior football in 2025. So if you would like more details or to register your Auskickers, please see our socials. All the details are there for you.
Netball coaches, we're hosting an intermediate coach course on Sunday, August 4th. There are a few prerequisites required to compete in our intermediate course. So if you're interested in this opportunity, please see our socials for more details and a link to register.
Lovely. For our clubs within the LGAs of Casey, Yarra Rangers and Murrindindi, the councils have now signed off on their fair access policies. Cardinia is still yet to come out. Keep an eye out for communications from your council, or to find more information, go to our website and find Maddie's latest club development newsletter.
Last but not least, we'd like to acknowledge some big milestones from just the round gone. Congratulations firstly to Hillsville's Daniel Plozza, who played his 350th game on Saturday. A huge achievement for Ploz, who also broke Hillsville's all-time games record earlier this year. Congratulations also to former Outer East Football Netball board member Yarra Junction's Jodie Chandler, who reached 300 games in the netball. Jodie has spent time at both Hillsville and the Eagles, with matches with both clubs making up to her 300 milestone. But last but not least, a huge shout out as well to our field and goal umpire, Andrew Marshall, who officiated his 1,000th match on the weekend. Absolutely massive. Absolutely massive.
Congratulations to all those people. All right, let's jump into ones to watch. We'll start with the men's footy. Who have you selected?
From Upwey Tacoma, we saw him on the weekend. Sam Wicks is averaging 21 disposals this season, 6 tackles, 6.5 clearances, almost 10 ground ball gets, and about 4 inside 50s a game as well. He's just a tough, hard footballer. Sam Wicks is exactly the kind of player that you need in your team and specifically in your midfield. So he is my one to watch for this week.
From a women's footy point of view, I've gone with Kaylin Tilney, who's a forward from Seville. What I love most about her is she's actually super young. She recently just played in our under-16 girls interleague team, but she's absolutely killing it in the seniors as well. So she reads the play really well. She was always in the right positions, especially around the contest, and she had a really good use of space when there were crowds around the ball. She really used that outside space and had a lot of good runs. So super impressed. She kicked the opening goal of the game, got them off to a really good start. So she's my one to watch for this week.
And lastly, for netball, another Upwey Tacoma player, Mia Louie, only played 11 games this season, but already has 186 goals for season 2024. One of her top performances on the weekend, her third highest goal tally for the season with 25 goals, also including 9 goals in the last quarter to really secure the win for Upwey Tacoma.
Amazing. All right, well, let's jump in now to our match of the round preview. We've got Warburton Millgrove versus Belgrave. Let's get into it.
Firstly, looking at the footy, Warby are currently third on the ladder with a 9-3 record. Belgrave currently 6th on the ladder with a 6-5 record with the 1 draw against Seville on Anzac Day. Tyson Henry and Riley Pentland are likely to go head-to-head in the middle, both having really good seasons, and I think you'll probably see Ben Pretty having the matchup on Kyle Nunn, who's averaging 3 goals a game this season. From the netball perspective, Warby currently top of the ladder, 10 wins, just the 1 loss. Belgrave are 7th with a 4-7 record. Battle and Beat's probably going to have to match up on Bianca Daniels, who's got 333 goals this season, so that's going to be a big job for her. And Maddie Woosner will likely go head-to-head with Morgan White in the centre.
Amazing. All right, well, let's go to your picks. Start off with the footy.
Warburton Millgrove at home, I reckon.
Yep, fair enough. And what about the netball?
Oh, I can't go past Warby. Just unbelievable Warby last couple of years. So, yeah, going to have to tip them as well.
Amazing.
Did you know that Gameface can provide game day vision for the under-19s, reserves, women's and netball teams? You can split the fee with your opposition, so make sure you book in now.
All right, well, as we mentioned at the start of the show, our first interview for this week is with Kody, the senior men's captain at Woori Yallock. Aidan had a chat to him after their win on the weekend.
We're here today with Woori Yallock senior captain Kody Busoli after a fantastic round 13 win over Upwey Tacoma. Kody, how important was today?
Oh, today is a massive game for the rest of our season. This 2-week block we're heading into, having Upwey today and then Wanda next week, is kind of the builder for our finals block that we're looking to head into. So it's a massive game for us.
12-1, second on the ladder, mate, and you're pretty well solidified in that spot at the moment. How confident are you that you can hold that double chance going into the finals?
I think if we keep playing the way that we're playing and keep just executing the way that we want to do things, I think sky's the limit for us. I think the last couple of weeks have been a bit harder than what we would have liked to have been,
yep.
But it's good to get an audit every now and then and get a realisation of some things you can fix. So.
Yeah, of course. Benny Monkhurst back into the side this season, and we've noticed him kind of swinging back between the back line and the forward line. How do you kind of decide what's going to happen with him week to week?
Yeah, Benny kind of does his thing pretty much. So it depends on who we're playing. There's definitely teams that have got a bit more firepower up forward and maybe need someone with a bit more tenacity and someone with a bit more knowledge on them. And other than that, when the game is in the balance, Ben's always quality up forward. He has been for the last decade. So,
yep. And do you have much knowledge of Upwey Tacoma going into today? What were some of the plans to try and get the win, and also the conditions on the ground were a little bit not ideal as well?
Yeah, the conditions were exactly kind of what we thought they would be. It's been a bit of a wet month, and it always is here. So, but Upwey have been playing extremely well. Their ability to switch the footy and has shown against the likes of Narry and other sides like that has really shown that's where they beat sides. So shutting that down was massive for us today. And then the contested ball, they're great through the middle and yeah, they're building pretty nicely. So.
Yep, and you've recently had a baby as well, mate. It's a bit of a theme this season. Caitlin Black from Mount Evelyn had one not too long ago, and now yourself. So how are you managing parenting with skippering the footy club?
Oh, it's easy. No, it's. I'm lucky. I've got a beautiful wife that takes the brunt of a lot of things, and at the end of the day, footy's footy, and family comes first. But no, it's been an absolute dream and exactly what I was hoping to be. So.
And are we going to see young Busoli? Is he going to be taking part for the Woori Football Club in a couple of years' time, or down the track?
I don't think you have a choice. Yeah, he'll be forced into it. So.
No, of course. Cody, thank you so much for joining us today, mate. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you. Cheers.
As mentioned as well at the start of the show, we did have the talent lead of the Eastern Rangers and also the Woori Yallock alumni, Danny Ryan, in for a chat as well. Danny, thank you for joining us in the studio today, mate. You're, of course, the Eastern Rangers talent lead, so you get to see a lot of the young players coming through and hopefully going through to the AFL and the AFLW. But the first thing we'd like to talk to you about is your affiliation with our competition, which starts with your days at the Woori Yallock Football Netball Club, where you had a lot of success. Of course, 4 club best and fairests, 1 league best and fairest, 8 interleague appearances. You're a 5-time premiership player, a 3-time premiership coach, and 300 games and a life member. Can you tell us a little bit about your playing days at Woori and what sticks out to you when you think back to that time?
Yeah, it's sort of it's a long period. I think it was over about 18 years that I was involved in the senior club. Before that, I was 6 years of age when I first played junior football at Woori Yallock. And I suppose the senior side of things, there was a lot of different phases of the program, or phases of my career. You know, early days as a 17-year-old. Running around playing with some of the club legends, it was pretty exciting, a bit of a surreal sort of feeling, and they retired, and we probably really struggled that first 5 or 6 years of football. We never played finals, and then early 2000s, Damien Monkhurst came back to the club as our coach and started getting some success from that point of view, from that point of time, and from there just to go off, and I think we played in 8 grand finals over 11 years, so lots of great memories. Probably my favourite memories are just playing with my mates and, you know, sitting down on the floor of the rooms after a game, a win or a loss. A win probably more so was more exciting, but, you know, spending time with family and friends and being a part of the community up at Woori Yallock was something that, you know, I still miss. I go up there every now and then on a Thursday night when I get an opportunity and get out to some games, you know, at times when Eastern aren't playing. But I really do, you know, cherish my time at Woori Yallock and very proud of what we achieved and very proud of the club, you know, what they're doing at the moment.
What made you want to get into coaching?
Interesting. It was, I was the captain under Monkey for about 11 years and saw the way that he went about things, and I was really keen to sort of in the back end sort of take control and start doing a few things, which Monkey allowed me to do. And then he finished up. Funny story is that Woori probably weren't going to give me the job straight away, and it wasn't until I went and interviewed for a few other coaching roles that they contacted me and said, look, we really want to sit down. And one of the things was, what would make you a good coach? And I thought, well, at the time, Monkey had this amazing game plan that I knew inside and out, or we'd continue that. And I also felt like I could keep all the players on board and keep them around the club, which by Christmas we'd lost half our squad, so that didn't actually go to plan. So that was pretty tough on the on myself and my ego to think that I could have kept the boys around, and we didn't. And so we went into that first year, tipped the finish on the bottom of the ladder, lost majority of half of our squad from the year before, and then to sort of go on and eventually win the grand final that year was pretty pleasing. So from that, it's been a real passion of mine, and I've sort of stepped away from the coaching side of things now into the operation side of football. But I still think I'm a coach at heart, and I still coach my daughter's under-12s team, which is pretty exciting.
You joined the league as the football development manager in 2017, spending 3 years developing programs and pathways for our participants. Can you talk about your role or what your main objectives were?
Yeah, the role back then, I worked for Telstra for about 18 years, and an opportunity came up when Dean Rice left his position here under AFL Vic as an AFL Vic employee. So I went for that first interview I'd ever gone for in my life, and managed to get the role. And it was for me, working in football full-time was exciting. It went away from coaching, but it was more around supporting the league in participation numbers, a lot of Auskick, education and rolling out and supporting all the Auskick programs in the Yarra Valley at the time. And then going on to, we set up our interleague program and tried to align it a little bit with the Eastern Ranges, a lot of terminologies, a lot of the coaching practices, and trying to help our kids when they do come into the program down here to sort of have a really confident, ability or thought of what the club's looking for, what the coaches are looking for. So I thought that was really successful. We had some really good players that came through and ended up going on, and we had some really good coaches. Jared Donders was a coach that we got in as a interleague coach, and now he's our full-time coach of the Eastern Ranges girls program. So I thought we set up a really good program and gave our kids in our region every opportunity to take that next step in their footy.
In 2020, you joined the Eastern Ranges as their talent lead. Can you explain a little bit about the role and what's involved?
Yeah, it's basically running a football club, and we've probably got about 40 staff on board that look after our under 16 boys and girls and under 18 boys and girls. So there's 4 full-time staff here. There's probably 6 to 9 part-time staff, and then the rest are our volunteers that come through. So it's just managing them, managing the players. We've got an unbelievable group of recruiters that go out and watch games of football every week, and I sort of support and work with them. So my role is sort of get the squads in for the pre-season, and then you hand it over to LJ and the coaches to pick those squads and final squads that they're looking for throughout the year. A lot of work with AFL recruiters and AFL player managers. It's hard to believe, but a majority of our kids got player managers now that will help support them on the way through. So sort of working in with them and working in with the clubs and the family. So it's a holistic sort of approach and a look at football. And it's look, for me, it's full time. I love it. I've got some kids in the region that we know pretty well. I really love my role.
Your 3 kids now play for Woori, and you coach the under-12 girls team that your daughter is playing in. How does it feel seeing that same passion for the club in your kids?
Yeah, it's amazing. We live in Murrabak. We're probably 30 minutes from Woori, 35 minutes. There's probably 7 or 8 clubs within 10 minutes of home, which probably does make sense to send the kids down there. But they grew up in the Woori Footy Club. Their cousins are all up there playing. They just love it. They love the Richmond Tiger jumper. They love going up there. They're just as passionate about the club as I am. And so it's pretty cool. And for my daughter, who had no interest at all in playing footy, she, for some reason over the Christmas break, got really keen to play, and she talked 5 of her friends in from Murrabak. So I'm not sure if the parents are too happy about that, but they'll make the 30-minute drive up the highway, and they've been playing, and it's just amazing to sort of see her and see the women's football growing like it is, and to have my daughter now a part of that club playing football. It's, the best couple of hours of the week sitting down there watching her play. And obviously the boys have been going pretty well at their footy as well. So it's really, really good to see them coming through and hopefully playing a lot of football at Woori Footy Club in the future.
You're obviously very passionate about this community, having been involved in various ways for decades now. Can you tell us what has driven you to be involved with the Outer East Football Netball League and the Eastern Rangers?
Oh, look, I'm very passionate and proud of, as I said, of Woori, but the extent of that of our region, and it's something that I always talk to, and I talk about our kids about the pathways of coming up through even our system. You don't have to be moving around clubs and bigger clubs. You can actually be found in a small community club like a lot of our towns are out there. But I thought, just from a Woori point of view, they really do punch above their weight when they're going up against clubs and different teams at different years. We recruit really well, and Woori always seems to go very well against them. So from that point of view, it was definitely, I'm really passionate about that region and seeing us doing really, really well at football.
Last question we're going to ask you, mate. How important do you feel it is for your role to have some of the Rangers kids, boys and girls, drafted into the AFL? Do you feel that really reflects on your work?
Yeah, it does. It does. It's very tough. I think there's, on average, about 3 kids a year that will get drafted from our program. So we know that not every kid's going to get drafted. We just make sure that they come in and hopefully leave better players, better kids, and then whatever that level is, AFL, VFL. But for majority of our kids, we encourage them to go back to their local club, wherever that is, support their juniors that have come through. The junior clubs have really looked after them as players. So, when their time is up here, we'd really like to see them go back and play some senior footy for their local clubs.
Danny, thank you so much for joining us in the studio today, mate. We really appreciate all your insights into what goes on with the Eastern Rangers, and we do wish you all luck in the future.
Yep, no worries. Thanks, Hayden.
Thanks, mate.
All right. Last segment of the show, as always, fantasy footy and netball. As we mentioned, we're picking a back pocket and a half-back flank for our footy teams this week. Who are you going to choose?
Firstly, for my half-back flank, going to go with Ruby Langham from Emerald. She's made the team of the year a couple of times this season. Springboards them off that half-back line. It's a very important position, as many would know, so I couldn't really go past her. For my back pocket, I'm going to go with Braden Weller from Gembrook Cockatoo. He was very important in their premiership a couple of years ago. He's very experienced, very composed in that position, so he's going to be in my back pocket position as well.
Great choices. I've gone with 2 absolute powerhouses. I've gone with Annalise Ryan from Pakenham, and I've gone with Francesca Alves from Belgrave. Both these girls have made the team of the week so many times this year, really strong down back, and I actually think they'll work really well together. This is why I want our fantasy teams to play each other, so we can test these theories.
Francesca, well, she's got named in the centre as well, in the team of the year, so versatile. She also did win the best on ground medal in their premiership last season as well. So, very important player to have in your team, of course.
Let's jump over to the netball now. We are having our first sub. I think we'll probably do 3.
Yeah.
And we'll do, obviously, rolling subs just like they would actually play on a Saturday. So who are you going with?
Going to go with Ali Langdon from Warburton Millgrove. It's hard to go past her. She's probably a little bit unlucky to not have the goalkeeper position starting on court, but there's just so many good players to pick from, but definitely want her probably as my first reserve in case I do need her to come onto the court. Another player who also had very high praise from Kate Nell when we had them on the show. Plays her role really well. She's quite a young player as well, so definitely good to have some youth running through the side. I'm
kind of in the same position as you. This is someone that I wish I could have on the court, but it's so hard with only 7 positions. So I've gone with Alana McGurgan from Yarra Glen, who just as easily could have been my centre. So to have both her and Krista, I feel like is a great combo. Both versatile, both so fast. Absolute champions. So I'm happy I picked those 2.
Yeah, of course. Well, that pretty much wraps up all there is to talk about this week on the Outer East Football Netball Show. If there's anything you'd like to see us try and get done, make sure you leave a comment down below. Steph, thank you again for joining me in the studio.
No problems at all.
For all the viewers out there, don't forget to get your game face on.